Hello everyone, this is Alchemisted. This is once again Star Trek Online, Rise of the Red Shirt, and this time we're going to be doing Spin the Wheel. Down, 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 Devidians. This is the second episode of the Devidian featured episode series, and it's kind of the odd man out. It's not quite... The awards are rather lackluster, except for this. This is the best thing about this mission, really. It's a damn good weapon to have, and it's the only thing that really hurts the Devidians. So, let's go ahead. I need your assistance with a rather delicate situation. We have an intelligence operative undercover on Drozana Station. Her astute observations have given us the edge in several critical engagements in the neutral zone. 22 hours ago, this operative activated an emergency subspace beacon. Zamara would only contact me in this matter if she was about to be discovered by the enemy or her life was in danger. I am understandably concerned. I need you to go to Drozana, find Zamara and assist her. Take her to safety if you have to, but don't blow her cover. If you go in there weapons blazing, you may get her killed. I've accessed your logs. It's been quite some time since you had some shore leave. I suggest you visit Drozana for some downtime. And this is Franklin Drake telling us to do this. Spin the wheel. So let's go ahead and do this, because this is a very quick mission. I said last time in Skirmish that the dialogue was the longest part of this mission, and it is. We may get stuck on one puzzle for a while, but that's about it. And I remember a bit of the order, but we're heading to Drozana. I haven't been to Drozana yet, at least not yet in Rise of the Red Shirt. Excuse me. This is a neutral station in Eta Eridani, where Klingon and Federation players can sort of gather. And it was a favorite grounds for RPers for a very long time because of that. It was actually very interesting to sort of sit down and listen in, I would say. Not actually listening in because it's text, but you get what I'm saying. It's very interesting to listen to their various role-playing sessions. I was tempted. I was like, I've been tempted to kind of join them in RP a little bit. It's a role-playing game, after all. It's a fucking RPG. That's what it was. That's what it's meant to be. That's what it's meant for, is role-playing in a role-playing game. But every time I get cold feet. As we see, there's a Typhoon-class battleship, which I will have one day. One day. Ferengi Marauder, a Negvar... couple... That might be a Vorcha, and that might be... What is that? Is that just a vanilla bird of prey? Let's check that out. Not yet, Ferengi. No, that's not... That's one of the other birds of prey. It's not... That's not the, Hold on. Just 1 minute. Wait 1 frelling second. This is the quad cannon one, isn't it? Is it? Or is this a Raptor? No, that's not the quad cannon one. Don't be silly. That is a Vorcha, though. Does it tell me what it is? Tab? No. Alright. So we're going to be seeing quite a bit of Drozana in this featured episode series. In fact, the rest of the episodes of this series will revolve around this station. In this station and its environs. And this is... And people who've seen the original series can probably tell at first glance, but those who haven't, this is actually an old, decommissioned Starfleet starbase that has been found and repurposed by the Ferengi as essentially an interstellar bar. You know, just like a trade and resort station, or as resort-like as it can get. As you can see, it's kind of crap looking, but it looked quite nice back in its day. And we will be exploring the underbelly of this station, like the lower levels, the utility levels of this place. It's quite nice to look at. I believe they were attempting... I believe in an interview, it was one of the Stoked interviews. They were saying, like, they were looking at this place and they were thinking, do we want to make this place like Deep Space Nine? And it's got like a bunch of lights. It's got holosuites on it. It's essentially Quarks as a... Like, if you've seen Deep Space Nine, this place is essentially Quarks as a starbase. And it's actually even made up of, like, freighter ships. Like, you can see, like, this whole neck area here is actually made up of ships. Like, they really scrounged this place together. It's a very nice touch, that. But yes, and that part's like just disconnected. It's held together by like cords and wires and stuff. This doesn't seem to be... Perhaps I'm mistaken? No, it doesn't seem to be in a geosynchronous orbit with anything. It just sort of seems to be floating out here in a debris field. Which is yet another clue. There's a Centaur class. This massive debris field here is yet another clue as to... the events that will play out over the course of this featured episode series. And it was actually a rather nice moment when I figured that out. It's like, oh... Because, you know, stuff like this doesn't happen with all this asteroidal debris. This doesn't happen in deep space. You know, you don't have, like in, like, if you've seen The Empire Strikes Back. Like the big asteroid field there, and I'm not dishing on Empire Strikes Back when I say this. I think Empire Strikes Back is a fantastic movie. But the big debris field that Han Solo flies the Millennium Falcon through, you know, never tell me the odds. That never actually happens. You know, like they're never that grouped together in an asteroid belt. You know, we think of an asteroid belt as like this big cloud of debris, but it's actually... You'll be lucky if you're sitting next to one of the asteroids in the asteroid belt. You'll be lucky if you can look around and see another asteroid. Even though they are relatively close together, they are still very, very far apart. So stuff like this doesn't tend to happen in nature, which suggests this debris field came from somewhere else. And that was an interesting... Or perhaps I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I haven't played Night of the Comet in a while. Well, actually, I did play it a while before, but I'm not sure if the debris field was there. So if this debris field isn't there once we get to like Night of the Comet, this would be a nice touch. If I'm not just reading too much into it. But enough about that. That's your science lesson for today. Let's go ahead and dock. No, I don't want to depart the system. I want to dock. Welcome to Drozana, U.S.S. Woglinde. You are cleared for docking. We have everything you'll need for shore leave, and a few things you don't even know you wanted. Shopping, drinking, dining, entertainment, you'll find it all here. And don't forget the 77th rule of acquisition. If you break it, I'll charge you for it. So, could be chugging. There used to be chugging here. A lot of players tended to congregate here, but that was before you had social zones like Starfleet Academy. So, since we are supposedly undercover, I'm going to jump into my civvies. There we go. Yep, there's quite a few people here. Okay, question Bellin. Welcome to Drozana Station, the home of the finest libations and pleasures this side of Reeks. Care to hear about today's specials? Try the Comet Cocktail, it's out of this world. Tell me about your specials. You've arrived at the right time. It's almost the day of the comet. Driffin's comet is going to pass close enough to the station to frost the viewports, and this is the only place in the sector where you can celebrate in style. We've got Comet cocktails and keepsake glasses, Comet Trail Mix, Comet ice cream cores in 47 flavors, so relax, enjoy the games and have a drink, and pick up some souvenirs for your crew. You'll probably want to send a few trinkets back home to the folks you'll probably want to send a few trinkets back home to let the folks know that you were at Drozana Station when the comet arrived. Tell me more about the comet. A crew from a Vulcan science vessel visited here a week ago, and they told me that Driffin's comet has a wide elliptical orbit. The last time it was in this area was in 2262, and it won't be back again until 2556. And by then, I'm sure that this crazy war will be over and Drozana Station will be the premier space entertainment venue in the entire galaxy. It looks like your standard ball of ice and rock to me, but the science geeks are all excited about it. They say it's giving off triolic energy and that it has high variance in chronoton particles, whatever that means. Me, I see opportunity. Starting now, Days of the Comet. Join in all the fun for just a few credits. There's no better place for a good deal and a good time than Drozana Station. Tell me about this station. We've got everything a brave Starfleet officer like yourself could want. There is access to shopping, subspace message stations, a few quality vendors, drinks, dancing, and Dabo. That Lita hologram is really something. Makes me want to get a handful of her pixels, if you know what I mean. Ha! My partner and I took this base over a few months ago. It was an abandoned piece of space junk then, but with some hard work and careful financial planning, we will make it a pleasure destination to rival Rysar, Casperia Prime. Almost said Cardassia. Abandoned? Who built this station? Humans, I think, but history has never been my thing. The present is where the Latinum is. I know the station was built in the mid-23rd century and served as a trading post and supply station for colony ships and military vessels. Then the House of Duras owned it for a while, but they gave it up in the 2370s. It was empty until my partners and I arrived. Do you know we had to spend 3 weeks scrubbing blood wine stains off the decks? Between that, the globfly infestation, and voles in the computer circuitry, it's a wonder that we ever opened our doors for business. I'm looking for someone. Aren't we all? Me, I want a leggy Vulcan with a liberal attitude towards interspecies relations. So, are you looking for someone in particular, or just some company? Her name is Zamara. Do you know her? Oh yeah, I know Zamara. Maybe she's been here recently, and maybe she hasn't. My memory is kind of hazy. Let's see. No. Arrangement. Perhaps we could come to some sort of arrangement. Yeah, I'm sure we can. In fact, I feel my memory clearing up already. I tell you what, I know you Starfleet types aren't big on Latinum, but what you do have are skills and a willingness to get your hands dirty. That's what I need right now. Our replicators are on the fritz. Maybe it's the whole power system, because the lights are going wonky too. But a little blue mood lighting isn't as big a problem for me as unfilled drink orders. Use the turbolift to get to the cargo bay and get my replicators running. By the time you're done, I'm sure I will have remembered where I last saw Zamara. I am unsure if we actually have to do this.
Watch the wheel, not the girl.
And that is Hololita, who is kind of terrifying whenever she pipes in, especially when you're not used to voice acting in the game. I already know where Zamara is, but we're going along the original plot of this mission which says I don't. So let's go downstairs and do the annoying puzzle. So yeah, we've got to hit all of these computers in a particular sequence, but first, input request. Run diagnostic on replicators. Action unavailable. Replicators are offline due to diminished function of electroplasma distribution network. Run diagnostic on electroplasma distribution network. 30% drop in power reported on Deck 1. Replicators are offline until power fluctuations are repaired. What is the cause of the loss of power on Deck 1? Unknown. What must be done to restore power to Deck 1? Power must be rerouted through systems to relieve strain on EPS conduits. The following systems are available for this process: holosuites, gravity control, replicators, environmental controls, defense grid. 6 connections are required to stabilize the power grid. Hail engineering team. Contacting the Woglinde now. Captain, the biggest problem you're going to have repairing anything on that station is the age of the system and the general lack of maintenance. Drozana was built in the mid-23rd century, and many of the systems on the station haven't had a major update in more than a century, so you're dealing with an EPS system that just can't handle the strain of running modern equipment like replicators. I did some digging in our database, and I found a log made by a Starfleet Corps of Engineers officer who visited the station in the early 24th century and made repairs to the EPS system. The log says that you need to regulate the power flow by routing it through various subsystems. It's almost like you're running those systems as ancient circuit breakers. What do you suggest? The first thing you should try is scanning some of the damaged systems and power couplings in the cargo bay. You should learn more about how to properly realign the relays. Scan replicator power relays. The Ferengi operating Drozana station have made replicator function their top priority. The replicators are now tied into every available system, including life support. Start with a connection to the replicators or the power connection will fail. Scan gravity control power relays. It looks like someone used an outdated power coupling to connect gravity control to the main power feed. It must have been an emergency fix, but it's been here so long that the coupling is fused and cannot be removed. Gravity control can connect to environmental control and the defense grid, but not replicators. Okay. The holosuites have a separate environmental control system, so that they can be finely tuned for temperature conditions appropriate to the various scenarios that are running at any given time. Environmental controls cannot connect to holosuites. Okay. The Klingons who ran the station in the early 24th century made significant improvements to the station's shields and added turret weapons. While it made the station more defensible, it also increased the amount of energy needed to keep the station's defense grid operational. The fourth connection must be the defense grid. So you kind of see where this is going. You have to sort of figure out what order you have to do things, because some things cannot connect to each other. Scan damaged power coupling. There is a shunt that is slowly diverting energy from the station's power core to hollow emitters installed in some of the lower levels of the station. You will need to compensate for that energy drain to restore replicator function. The connection must end with the system to which you are attempting to restore power. So you have to start and end with replicators, essentially. And this is a social zone, like the social zone. This is a social zone, so we have like NPCs and player characters in here all the time. When you find a snarl of wires and cables that look like they have been chewed on by voles, you realize that not every system may need to be used to make a successful reroute. Some systems may need more than one connection. Okay. Scan burned out power couplings. The EPS relays on the station are a maze of shunts and relays, with patches going between unrelated systems and even to power cells that are being used to boost flow in critical areas. 6 connections are required to stabilize the power grid. And scan environmental control power relays. Bellin found a way to keep the station's ancient bar coolers working by connecting the cooling systems to the replicators. Unless that connection is maintained, all of the refrigeration units will go offline. Replicators must have a connection to the environmental controls. Replicators, environmental controls. So environmental controls have to be number 2. Diagnostic results. This is what we know so far. Okay, so this just goes over what you know. Okay, hang on. Is there any new text? No, there's no new text. So we start with replicators. Then we go to environmental control. Then we have to go to defense grid. Then we have to go back to environmental controls. Then we go back to replicators. Got it. First try. Report to Bellin. So yeah, you do not even need to use the holosuites. The holosuite console. That one's just there to screw with you, basically.